What if I told you 34 American sailors were killed on a U.S. Navy ship, and to this day, more than half a century later, two governments still don't fully agree on what really happened in those hours at sea? And here's the America First question. If it was just a mistake, why does the story still feel unfinished?
I'm exiled to the greener grass, searching for the uncertain haze.
Welcome back to Chalms Talks. I'm Chalms, and this is a place where we share facts and opinions, because opinions are like buttholes. Everyone has them. Only difference is I like sharing my opinions. Today, we are talking about the USS Liberty, the incident that Washington never fully explained. And lately, people like Thomas Massie have been calling for a reopening or a reinvestigation of the incident and bringing it more to light. And I want to fully look into it and then bring it to the light of the American people, those who, from my generation, may not have heard about it, or forward generations, right, may not have heard about it. So let's get into it. On June 8th, 1967, the USS Liberty, a U.S. intelligence ship, was operating in international waters during a major war. Then it was attacked, first from air, then from sea. Within minutes, American sailors were fighting for survival. But here's where things start to split. Officially, this was a tragic mistake, but survivors say something doesn't add up. That disagreement has never gone away. Let's start with the one thing everyone agrees on. The ship was hit by aircraft, then later torpedoed by boats, and it lasted long enough to cause catastrophic damage. But here's the controversy. Why did it continue after the first strike? Was it confusion? Or was it something more? That's where this story stops being history and starts becoming debate. The US government said mistaken identity in wartime. Israel said, we thought it was an enemy vessel. Case closed, right? Not for everyone, because survivors on that ship describe something very different. One survivor account from Naval Inquiry Testimony describes the air attack like this. They were firing rockets into us. There was no question we were being hit. Another widely cited testimony summary, we were clearly marked with the American flag. And that leads to the first major question. How does a clearly marked U.S. Navy ship get attacked in daylight? Now it gets more controversial. U.S. aircraft were launched from the 6th Fleet to respond. Help was on the way. Then they were recalled. Official explanation? Fear of escalation. Fear of entering an active war zone. But survivors, here's something else. Help came close, then turned around. And that moment still fuels debate today. But here's the critical point. The Pentagon logs don't say no help was sent. They say something more complicated. Confusion, fragmented intelligence, rapid decisions in a war zone. So which is it? Neglect or caution under pressure? Then comes the second strike. Torpedo boats. One hits the ship directly. And this is where critics say that's no longer confusion. That's continuation. Because at that point, the ship wasn't invisible. It was burning. It was damaged. It was fighting to survive. The official explanation still holds. No confirmed intent. No intercepted order to target Americans. No declassified smoking gun. The absence of proof doesn't settle the debate for everyone. It just defines the limits of what we know publicly. Here's what makes this case so explosive, even today. Both sides agree on the timeline, but not what it means. Was it a tragic battlefield misidentification or a failure so severe it still hasn't been fully explained? And this is where the American First question hits hardest. Not about foreign policy, not about alliances, not about accountability. Did we fully understand what happened to our own sailors in real time? Or did confusion and caution override protection? Survivors argue there was time to recognize the ship, time between attack phases, time for correction that never came. Officials argue war moves fast, mistakes happen under pressure, and communication was fragmented. Both can't fully be ignored, but both can't fully answer everything either. This is why the USS Liberty still divides historians, analysts, and veterans, because it sits in a gray zone. Confirmed attack, disputed intent, conflicting interpretations of timing, an incomplete public understanding of decision-making. And that gray zone is exactly where controversy lives. The real issue isn't just what happened in 1967. It's whether Americans today are satisfied with official conclusion as the final word, or whether some cases deserve renewed transparency when questions still remain. Because here's the uncomfortable truth. History doesn't always come with clean answers. But when American lives are lost, clean answers shouldn't be optional. So we come back to the core question. If this was truly a tragic mistake, why does the story still generate disagreement after decades of investigations, reports, and declassified summaries? And here's the America First question to end on. When America's sailors are attacked, do we accept closure from authority or demand full clarity for the people who served? In my opinion, we should demand full clarity for the people who served. That's where I'll leave it today. Thank you. This has been Chom's Talks. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, like, and follow. Leave your comments down below. Until next time, have a great day. Stay curious. Bye.